Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Episode 79 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, and we're also known as...
The Naughty Couple.
Hello, Mrs. N.
Hello, Mr. N.
Oh, we've had lots of feedback and mail this week.
We have.
Because we mentioned that Roxy is back, and she's back again this week with an Ask Roxy.
No, stop singing it. It doesn't sound as good.
I know. And
even though you were the one that sang the thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're really revealing all the secrets. You're revealing all the secrets now. Anyway, we've got an Ask Roxy a little bit later on, and we've also got a message to us. To Mr. and Mrs. N, a gentleman has written into Vanilla to Vixen to say he's just had his first meet. It was with a beautiful redhead.
Right.
She didn't have any hair, she just had a red head. Anyway, we've got Delicious Debs here as well. Hello, Delicious Debs.
Yeah,
hello, my darlings.
Has her head in her hands thinking, oh my God, could they get any worse?
No, I'm only joking. She was a stunning strawberry blonde. She was a redhead. And apparently he asks, are all redheads hot in bed?
Right.
So I think my advice is, if there's rust on the roof, there's definitely moisture in the basement.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Please send jokes. Please send jokes.
Well, I'm going to hijack this section.
Excellent.
I've got a joke of my own.
Bit of girl power.
Absolutely.
I'm speechless.
You should be.
I'm speechless.
There's a first.
I know.
So, conversation between a husband and wife, and the husband says to his wife, I bet you can't tell me something that will make me both happy and sad at the same time. And the wife says, your penis is bigger than your brother's.
Oh no, I'm redundant.
Debs is still laughing.
all I feel I'm good enough to do is to sit and play with my knobs. Oh no. Oh, it's a juicy one today.
It is a juicy one today.
We are. What is it? We're talking. What is beyond naughty?
Yeah.
That is the main event. What is beyond naughty? So stick around for that. But in the meantime, Ask Roxy. And we're joined now from that secret location, Roxy's lair. It's the fabulous Roxy.
Hi.
Hello, my lovely. You promised.
How are you?
We're good, thank you, my darling. You promised you'd be back, and here you are.
She is.
I'm back. Yes.
Thank goodness you're back, because
Yes.
the letters have been piling back in.
Yeah, since last week's episode, when they all realised that you were back, it was like, oh my God, quick, I need to ask Roxy.
I know. We've got a lovely message from a young man.
We have, who will be known as A.
A what?
Just A.
Just A. Okay, just A.
Just A. And A writes, hi, Roxy. I'm a 24-year-old guy and rather embarrassed to admit that I am still a virgin. I listen to Mr. and Mrs. N's podcast every week and love the humour and sometimes emotional content in the shows. My question is, would I be accepted in the lifestyle or the naughty hobby, as Mrs. N calls it? I love the idea of visiting a club. I would definitely want to visit on a newbie night. I am reasonably confident when it comes to the social aspect, but things moving to a playroom does scare me. Although I would desperately like that to happen with the right play partner, I'm just nervous to admit I'm still a virgin for fear of ridicule. Each week, Mr. and Mrs. N describe how there is no judgment at your club. Would I be safe to admit my lack of sexual experience, and would anyone be interested once they knew?
Oh, that's a new one, Roxy.
That is a new one.
That is a good question. That is a very good question. If I was just thinking myself, at that age, I mean, I've probably lost my virginity longer than he's been alive, which is quite scary for me.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, for a start, there's absolutely no ridicule at the club or in our lifestyle, is there really?
No, not at all. And everybody that's there has different backgrounds, different hang-ups, different experience. And I think it definitely would be a more difficult situation, I guess, just especially for single guys. Single guys find it difficult anyway, just in terms of sort of going to a club, because we always say you leave that expectation at home. There should be no expectation of just by coming to a club that you will get to play.
Yeah.
And we say that for the start. So I would say don't go to a club with the sole purpose of having sex, losing your virginity, whatever your situation is.
That's very wise advice.
Yes.
Yeah, because we always say you pay your entrance, that pays you to get through the door. You're not entitled to anything else on the other side.
Absolutely.
So if something happens and you meet somebody and you make a connection, brilliant. I would say be honest, because especially if it's if you've never done anything at all before, you want to make sure that the person you're playing with knows that, because I think even if the person themselves who hasn't lost their virginity doesn't have a hang up about it, the person they're playing with may feel uncomfortable to know that they've taken that from somebody else, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Because it might mean more to them.
I think
it is quite special.
Honesty is endearing, isn't it? No matter what your case is, you might just be nervous and at the club for the first time. And I always say to people, if it's their first visit to a club, tell people that it's your first time, because that honesty is endearing. You're entrusting that with someone, and that's special, no matter what the circumstance.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is to go, if you're going to go to clubs, is to go there and try and make those connections, to start talking to people, and don't think about anything. Don't even think about playing on your first visit. Just particularly if you go to a hosted party where you'll generally see some of the same faces. A lot of the time there's always new people, and some people come and go, but generally you'll get a feel for some people that you'll see on a more regular basis, and start making connections, because I think, especially with something like that, you want to make sure your first time is playing with the right person that understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many online communities, like the Curvy community on Discord, Vanilla to Vixen on Discord. There's so many communities that you can get involved in and just chat before you plan your first visit to the club. Absolutely.
Because you don't want to sort of be starting up the conversation with, it's like, hi, I'm A and I'm a virgin. That's not, you kind of want to be building those sort of conversations and connections, and actually sort of finding out whether you've got an interest in the person, they've got an interest in you, and then maybe broach the subject to go, this is very new to me, in more ways than one, and kind of look at it in that, go from that, and actually, would you feel comfortable in being with me in that situation? Because some people would absolutely be fine with it, and others may feel a little bit more uncomfortable, because it means different things to different people, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's one I'm going to ask to you both, Mrs. N and Roxy. Does losing your virginity as a guy, is it different to losing your virginity as a woman? Does it mean more to women? That's a very sexist thing to probably say, but does it mean more? Does it mean more to a woman?
I think that all depends on the individual, because I think that there are probably women like myself who grew up thinking it was a very special thing in you, and you lost your virginity with somebody that you were in love with, whereas I know that there are other females that are not that sentimental about it. And I think it's the same with guys. I think you'll get some guys that where it probably isn't. I mean,
it's just a chore. Come on, let's get it over.
Well, it's not that. But you're thinking about it. If you look at like Prince Harry in his book,
that didn't go so well.
No, but he lost his virginity to an older woman behind a or was he behind a hedge or something? You know, so there was no kind of like romantic, I'm in love with you kind of thing. It was just a quickie and way, hey, there you go. So...
Yeah, and I think if I can even remember that far back, I grew up in a quite not a strict Catholic family, but in a Catholic family, going to church quite a bit when I was younger. And yeah, I lost mine not in the sort of ideal circumstances in terms of meeting and falling in love and all that sort of stuff. Mine was very different, but I think the older you are, the harder it is to kind of. There's more. I guess there shouldn't be stigma at all. There shouldn't be.
But there is, isn't there? Being honesty in probably more in Muggle world society. I bet you, if you said this in the middle of the club, and just talking obviously for Liberty Elite, I guarantee there would be I think there would be more interest rather than. I can guarantee there would be no ridicule because
definitely no ridicule. I think it's always it's more like I don't think anybody would judge somebody for going there and still being a virgin. I just don't necessarily think it's not for everybody. Some people like the more experienced person, and I think if you play with somebody because you like to be dominated, for example, whether it's even not necessarily in a BDSM term, but even just in a sexually dominated, so you like the other person to take the lead, then you want that person to be experienced.
Yes.
Whereas if you like to take the lead, then actually somebody that has little experience would be somebody that you would actually quite enjoy teaching and showing things, that's
absolutely.
Sort of,
you explain things so well.
That's why she's our Roxy.
I don't know where it comes from. I honestly don't. But I think So when I was saying before, it's not necessarily somebody might feel uncomfortable. It's just the dynamic that they go to the club for. That might not be for everybody because we all have different wants, needs, and from people we play with. It's fulfilling our fantasies.
Yes.
And in that situation, that might not be part of that particular person's fantasy, but it might be somebody else's. So I think having those conversations earlier on and sort of talking about just in general what people enjoy from the lifestyle and, the sort of people that they do play with and getting a feel for who might be more open to somebody with less experience than others. Because not just about sort of being a virgin, just even generally as a single guy with little experience of the club scene, it's all very nerve-wracking, it's all very new, and I think some people prefer the more experienced player and some people don't. So it's just like anything in life, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for explaining that so well.
Why do you sound so surprised?
Sometimes I just go off in a ramble, don't I?
No, not at all, my lovely, not at all.
It's great to have you back, Roxy. Absolutely brilliant.
It is, my lovely.
It's good to be back.
And we shall speak to you very, very soon with hopefully some more random questions.
Yeah.
So anybody out there, if you have any questions at all about anything to do with sex, swinging, relationships, BDSM, anything at all, Roxy's got more knowledge than Wiki.
I don't know about that.
Just send us a message to Naughty Couple or naughtycouple@yahoo.com and we will get you sorted out with Roxy's answers. Ask Roxy. Oh, it's good to have her back.
Oh,
isn't
it is. She's so amazing.
She's
You gotta love Roxy.
You gotta
do.
love Roxy.
We do.
So it's time for the main event.
Dun dun dun.
It's been a quiet week. Not much has happened.
Oh, the master of understatement.
Yes.
Yeah. So Vegas Vixens is we do two parties for anybody that doesn't know. We do a party every month. We have Vegas Vixens and we have Vanilla to Vixen.
Yes.
So both nights are predominantly aimed at newcomers to clubs.
Yeah, it's for newbies and for more experienced couples who want to support newbies in their venture into our little bit of the world, our fabulous little bit of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both nights are a community.
Yep.
We've got a Discord room where people can chat, and the Discord invite is always on our programme notes.
Yep.
A lot of people who go in there and act stupid and get banned instantly, which shows that there is a strong policing of our community.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So it's for people that respect the community, understand the lifestyle,
and respect each other.
and respect each other. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It is.
So our nights are very much based on that. So Vanilla to Vixen is a night for just couples and single ladies, and Vegas Vixens is a little bit more party atmosphere. We have single guys, a limited amount of single guys, couples, and
Can I just say, a limited amount of heavily vetted single
Yes.
guys.
Absolutely.
It's not a
Video-
free-for-all.
video call verified.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's anybody that runs a party that vets their single guys like you two. I mean, all the party hosts are all careful with their single guys, but nobody as much as you guys are.
We do. That's a good point.
The thing is, it is really important to us because a lot of the people that come to our event are either new to a club or actually new to the hobby.
Yeah.
And all of them are nervous.
Exactly. And, you know, as we say, we're there to hold your hand, we're there to protect you, we're there to make sure
Yeah.
you have the best time ever. So
Only
it's-
the hand.
well, not always.
Stop asking
the
for a
secrets.
friend. Asking for a friend.
So obviously it is important to us that we get the right type of people that come to our event. And as we know, and we've talked about this many a time on the podcast, single guys do get a bit of a hard time.
They get a really rough time.
Sometimes that is justified. And so what we do is we make sure that we get that right person.
I'm going to put this into a comparison, and I think single guys are almost can't win because it's like car insurance. So it is. It's like car insurance.
Why is there's kind of a motor theme?
Let me
There's
see.
always
Let
a
me
motor
let
theme
me
with
carry.
Mr. N.
Let me carry on where this is going. Certain postcodes, certain areas, certain situations have to pay more insurance premiums than other areas, and that's simply because certain areas and other things, unfortunately, there is more trouble and cars get stolen more. And I think it would be in agreement, and I think I've spoken to many single guys, so I'm just talking as a single guy here, and I've been in clubs with single guys, and I've heard single guys go, yeah, single guys give us a bad reputation.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
None of the decent single guys don't appreciate how much trouble the knobheads cause them.
And it's true, isn't it?
It is.
So, I think it would be fair to say that if you get complaints or anything, unfortunately, a majority is single guys that cause it.
Yeah.
That's just, it's like insurance
I
premiums.
do
it's
think
just
there is
fact.
an element of that people are less accepting of single males' behaviour than they are of anybody else.
Yeah.
Like I've said just about every time I've done a podcast with you, women can behave in the same way as men and people are not offended by it or not as offended by it. Whereas a man behaves like the woman did and he'd be out.
Yeah.
He'd
That's
be
so
out,
true.
he'd be
Absolutely.
banned, he wouldn't be invited back.
Yeah.
Because everybody's offended by his behaviour, whereas, but it was only a woman. And this offends me.
Yeah.
I haven't
You
got...
have always been an advocate for the not to bash the single guys.
I hate
That's
man
good.
bashing.
I know you do, my
I hate
lovely.
man
I know.
bashing.
I haven't got a spoon big enough to stir this can of worms that is episode 79.
I will beat you to death with that spoon.
She will. And I will probably enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, I think so. So we're all agreed on that, yeah, we can understand where
Where some of that comes
Yeah,
from.
some of the
absolutely.
reputation comes from.
I just want to point out, though, Vegas Vixens is a fairly new event. It's only been going a few months, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We have had quite a few compliments about how well behaved the single guys have been at our events.
Their exact sort of comments that we've had have been, it's like a Saturday night on a Friday night.
Which is exactly what we were going for.
It's a more relaxed atmosphere. compared to other Friday nights.
As far as I'm aware, we haven't had any incidents of a single gentleman being banned from one of your parties,
Never.
have we?
Not that I'm aware of.
Of ever being asked to leave or ever actually having been pulled up on his behaviour.
It's lovely to see as well that we've seen single guys come to our event who are first timers and then go on to other parties.
Yeah.
And we've had compliments from hosts that have gone, that guy, you know, exemplary behaviour. Absolute God, can you send more guys like that? So that's a real testament to the single guys that we've had. You know,
but I think the verifications that we do, because we do a video verification, because it's like we want to get to know them. Yeah. We want to get to know their personalities. Yeah. But it also gives us an opportunity
to
also
know what you want to get to know.
I don't know what you're talking about. It also gives us an opportunity to explain to them etiquette and what is and what isn't acceptable. Yes,
what
absolutely.
Is expected.
Is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is, you know, our opportunity to sort of say it before they even walk into a club.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that your parties are so heavily crewed.
Yes. We have
heavily crewed.
We
are incredibly lucky.
And you have a core crew.
Yes.
Mainly people that have been on the podcast.
Yes.
That are your core crew that are always there.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they're very well aware of the dynamics of how your parties work. And when they're touring people, you know, they're explaining things really well. They're almost certainly, if it's somebody that's listened to the podcast, it'll be a familiar voice, if clearly not a familiar face.
I think here's where...
Because I look nothing like my cartoon.
Your cartoon's amazing. You do look like a cartoon.
Yeah.
My legs are not that thin.
Very sexy cartoon there. And I suppose here's where we kind of get to the meat of the story of what went on the last Vegas Vixens. And for the first time ever, we received some complaints. And the absolute gutting part of that is that it came from a member of the crew and their friends who were guests. And that kind of literally, it broke my heart.
Well, we're all feeling very bereft by it, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're all devastated by what's happened and the outcome of what's happened.
Yes.
And to sort of paint the picture, because we don't want to go into details, because it's not fair, because the person who was involved is not here. But without going into too many details, this was an incident that was purely consensual.
Absolutely.
There was absolutely no...
and there's no issue with what they did. No issue with it whatsoever. It was consensual. It was legal.
Yes.
There's nothing... It just was done in the wrong place.
And this is what we're talking about today. So it was beyond what you would call...
Naughty.
It was beyond what you would call...
I think some people would probably describe it as extreme.
Yes, that's a very good word. Mm. Yeah, it would... If the act that was going on, it would be classed as extreme pornography.
Yeah.
Extreme pornography. It wasn't done quietly. If anybody wants to, act out that kind of extreme pornography, there are private rooms. And
there would be no issue with what happened had it have been done in a private room. This was done on the big bed in the middle of the playroom on a newbie night, when there was lots of people there who were potentially going to be quite shocked by what they saw. The first time you go to a swingers club and you witness a room full of people having sex, that can be really overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh, incredibly overwhelming.
Really overwhelming. And that can take a lot of processing. That alone can take a lot of processing.
Absolutely.
And regardless of whether you find it really horny or not, it can take a lot of processing.
Yeah.
So what you don't want to do is add in something that is extreme for even hardened swingers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Even for a hardened swinger, I've been on the scene for 18 years. You know, I'm considered to be a hardened. I'm not. I'm a newbie, really.
You've seen some things.
I've seen one or two things.
I'm glad you said that and didn't say you've been round the block a few times.
Oh my God.
I absolutely have not. Me and the block are not at all acquainted.
She's just been round the cul-de-sac.
But I think what we're trying to say is we try and make sure everything on these nights is very gentle for our new guests, because we do not want to frighten anybody away. We want everybody to have an amazing night and thoroughly enjoy themselves. We're not prudes.
No, don't get me wrong. That big bed, we have seen that big bed where it has literally...
Like a Roman orgy.
Yeah, like 3 people deep.
Yeah.
Where there must have been 30 people.
Can I just say, without a single complaint?
Yeah.
That's true.
Without a single complaint.
Yeah, there's been 30 people.
I didn't have to cancel anybody in the changing room.
No. No.
You know, one of our more regular members came to the bar that night and went, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. It's amazing." Thoroughly loved every moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but nobody was traumatised by that, and nobody then felt the need to contact the club and say that they were upset.
So when you say the words gentle, we're not talking soft.
We're not talking vanilla. We're not talking Miss Me with the lights off, pull my nightie down when you're done. We're not on about that. We're just saying it's about being considerate of each other.
Yeah.
And being thoughtful and not aiming to shock anybody.
Yeah.
That's the key word, isn't it?
The thing is, when we started the podcast and everything, it was to tell people about this amazing world that we'd discovered.
Yes.
And it was, especially for me, it was wanting to share that with people.
And to ease people in gently.
Exactly.
If they so wished to be part of
absolutely.
it. Absolutely.
You know, so that is what we've been all about.
That's at the core of your ideals, isn't it?
Yes. And I think as well, you know, we've had a good, long, hard think, and with me, Mrs. N, and yourself, Debs, we've all sat and chatted about the incident and what's gone on for quite some time over the past week or so.
Yeah.
But it's as we've said, it feels like a bereavement.
It does, because...
And we're all still... I mean, we're laughing because that's what we do on the podcast. We laugh.
Yeah.
But it's really hit us all really hard.
Obviously, because the club directly received complaints, and it was just, you know, a few complaints, but
any complaint is too many.
It is, absolutely.
It is.
One complaint's too many.
And the thing is, you know, any complaint you take very personally because you feel like it is reflected on you.
And to me it is, because it was a member of our crew. So that does reflect on us. There's no question about that. And I take responsibility. And here's where I have the issue, because the only person I blame is me, because I directly said to that person, I would like you on the crew. Yeah.
It wasn't, in fairness, Mr. N, it wasn't just you.
Well, you take 50% of it.
but we all agreed.
Yeah.
We all agreed.
And so you know...
And one thing I want to really point out is the time that they were within the crew, they were absolutely flipping amazing.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we loved the fact that they were part of the crew.
And we could obviously the club made their decision, to which I stand by their decision.
Absolutely.
And support their decision. And we could have easily gone, okay, that's that, and not spoken about this. But I think to do that would not set the standard, and quite frankly, it wouldn't be being authentic and being straight with...
Which is what we've always said
our listeners.
We're going to be.
Exactly.
Haven't we? We've also said all the way along, this is the good, the bad, the ugly.
Exactly.
The other thing that we did say when we talked about it was that these are new people that have been to the club and have summoned up the courage to then complain.
Yeah.
So this has obviously caused, on whatever level, an element of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we felt it was important that we address it.
Yeah.
And remind people that we have several ways in which you can contact us.
Yeah.
All the ways that Mr. and Mrs. N put on the beginning of the podcast and at the end and on the notes.
And in the programme notes, yeah.
And, the Discord reach out room. So you don't even need to tell anybody.
Yeah.
You can literally come to the Discord reach out room. Because if somebody has been upset by what they've seen, that's enough for them not to come back to us or anywhere else. And that would be awful, absolutely awful, and we don't want that to be the case. Definitely off the back of one of our parties. I say ours. I'm not taking ownership of it like it's mine too.
But you are there.
You are, my lovely. You are part of it.
I'm like a bad smell. You can't get rid of me.
But the thing is, we go out of our way. I would say 7 out of 10 initial messages from brand newbies are concerned that there's anything that will make them feel uncomfortable. They ask questions, is there anything in the night that we should know about? And we go out of our way to say, our nights, you will not feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we ensure that there is absolutely nothing that will make you feel uncomfortable during our night. We go on and on, as I say.
And we're also incredibly proud of that. And because of how lucky we are with the crew that we have that help us.
Yeah.
They're not just, we say crew, but they're not. They're the closest friends
Absolutely.
ever, who mean the absolute world to us.
Who we've shared things with, who we haven't shared things with our own families.
Exactly. And this is what I want to get across. These people are, they're our world.
Yeah. And so, as I say, one of them fucked up. And it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
one of them
other way of
fucked
putting
up,
it. So.
And we were a crew down. We lost one.
So I have to say at this point, I want to apologise to a certain gentleman that I met on that evening.
Yeah.
So at the end of the evening, I was stood outside the changing room. He will remember. I have no idea who he is. Otherwise, I would reach out directly to him. So if you're listening to this and you were at that night and you were outside the changing room at the end of the evening and you were chatting and you were saying that you had witnessed some stuff that would take a lot of processing, you looked really rather shell-shocked.
Yeah.
I was really rather flippant about that. In hindsight, I thought you were a bit shell-shocked about seeing people having sex.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, that can take some processing. You'll be fine. It's great. And I was really very flippant because I truly, honestly believed at that point all you would not all, because that sounds very flippant again, that you witnessed people having sex and that you were a little bit shell-shocked by it.
Well, it is a big thing, isn't it?
It is a big thing. It's a massive thing.
It's huge.
The very first time you walk into a club and you actually see people having sex in front of you, how different...
Strangers, a room full of strangers having sex.
How different is that to porn?
Yeah. Oh, no, they're
that's
two different things. They're two completely different things.
Do you think, I was just... question that popped in my head then was, do you think that people that haven't been in that environment before, that come into that environment, they're expecting it to be like watching porn?
Quite possibly.
I
and
would.
it's nothing
And
like
it is
watching porn.
so different.
It's
I
so
would.
far away from porn, it's untrue. But it's way more erotic than porn is.
Oh, absolutely.
Way more.
But do you think that it's initially more erotic than porn? Or do you think... Because I remember the first time, your eyes go to the floor. You think, I should be watching this.
You do. I mean,
absolutely. You think, oh no, I can't look at them. I'll get a good hide in. You know, someone's girlfriend in a pub, you get gassed. Here you are watching him Roger we're watching someone else's missus.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we walked in, Mr. N, and there was a woman being eaten out on the bed, and I was like, oh. It was just like, I didn't know where to look.
And that's so true. And so you can't convey the difference between... And I mean... The playroom, to give again anyone that's never been to Liberty Elite is very unusual in which it has a huge, open, beautiful playroom.
But we equally have as much, if not more, locked play space.
Correct.
As we do open play space. So if there is something you want to do that isn't within the realms of being sensitive to other people, there is lots of locked play space for you to go and use.
And at this point in conversation,
We even have a room that's got 2 double beds in it, so you can fit lots. I mean, that doesn't just fit 4 people. That can fit a lot more than 4 people in it. Yeah,
at least.
Yeah, and that's got a lock on the door. So if you want your own private little orgy, you can always go and have one.
I also think at this point in conversation, it's important to state as well that Liberty Elite as a club not only has all these private rooms, public rooms, they also have different nights that cater for different things.
Yes, they do.
So if, for instance...
And 12 hotel rooms. Book a hotel room.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So if your sexual taste is for, let's say, just for instance, pick one, the curvy girl or the curvy person, not even girl, we've got Roxy's amazing
body positivity, dangerous curves,
body positivity.
Absolutely.
If, for instance, you have a hot wife or who's into black guys,
that'll be me.
That'll be you. But you've got Dark Desires, which is freaking awesome. We've only just been to Dark Desires.
And there's some beautiful black women there as well.
Oh my God.
Absolutely stunning black women.
I do have to hold Mr. N back.
I'll just sit there
when that happens, because he starts drooling and it's really not pleasant.
Pass him a tissue again.
It is Dark Desires, and the music is just awesome. So yeah, I mean,
and you've got Libertines LGBTQ party for for our fabulous T-girls. Big up for the T-girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, bi couples, bi singles, so we have... And then we've got Lady Selena and Master Paul's embargo for
absolutely.
Fetish. There is something for everybody.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
there is an event that caters for everybody's taste, even
Absolutely.
your musical tastes.
Yes.
There is something for everybody.
But I think, again, as this scene has moved on, especially in the last couple of years, certainly even from when we first started going to the club back in about 2015-16, I think there's more crossover now, where you will get couples who might experiment with a bit of BDSM or playing with floggers or whatever. So if you've got a situation...
As we know from your sales on site.
Would that be at vanillatavixen.co.uk, Deb?
That's vanillatavixen.co.uk. This is awful. I'm not even saying that's terrible advert placement. Mind you, they can't see my mug with vanillatavixen.co.uk on it, so we'll say it again. Anyway, so no, because we've got that crossover... you're perfectly right, Debs, in as much as you might get couples who want to come to our night but might want to try a bit of flogging. Take it to a private room.
Yeah, exactly.
Because...
Well, we do still... we have still got limited... The cross is still out on a normal night, and the bench is still out on a normal night.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, and it is only my personal opinion, is that's just off the dance floor. The music and people dancing doesn't quite... It wouldn't work for... I love a little bit of BDSM, but it wouldn't work for me having, 4 steps away, some people dancing on the dance floor.
I've spoken about this, you see. I've spoken about this. And I said to Mrs. N, I think it might be a bit kinky.
Yeah, he was trying to get me on one of the beds at Dark Desires, and I was like...
No, it wasn't the bed. It was the cross and the spanking. They got a spanking table.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
That might be quite kinky.
Well, and I think if I was being totally honest, we were quite excited when the club made the decision to sort of open up those bits of equipment, because as people on the podcast know, Mr. N and I quite like sensation play. Thank you to Delicious Debs for introducing us into that. And so it was just like, and we were saying there are people out there that are not probably into the more hardcore side of BDSM.
The problem is that when you say BDSM, people automatically think paddles, floggers, canes.
Yeah.
Someone's going to hurt me. It's going to involve pain. It's going to be uncomfortable. I don't like pain. There are people in this world that love pain, and that's absolutely fine. But the majority of people who've never experienced anything like that go, well, if I tap my toe on the bed on the way past. That really hurts. I don't like pain. That's not nice.
Yeah.
And so they don't appreciate that there's a massive difference between sensation play, and sensation play can go right up to your boundaries, give you a little touch over your boundaries, and the next time you play, your boundaries have moved on, and you know it can be literally beautiful, and certainly within a couple, it can enhance what you already have. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be hardcore canes and whips and floggers.
No,
and,
not at
you
all.
know.
And I do feel like I have to point out that our Vegas Vixen event, we play games, don't we? And people can win naughty prizes.
Yes.
And some of those prizes do get used.
We encourage it.
We do encourage it.
Take it into the playroom.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying
But
is...
the prizes are also as well, they're not anything you would see in extreme...
No, they're very kind of mainstream,
yeah,
aren't they?
I think probably even the naughtiest one you could probably say is a double-ended dildo.
I was just about to say, the double-ended dildo isn't what you'd usually pick up on the high street, is it? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I don't know. Ann Summers now is very... I'm mentioning competition now. I should charge him for that. You know, it is very kind of mainstream.
It is very... Yeah, I mean, Jacqueline Gold did that, didn't she? She made it into a high street brand.
Yeah.
And, you know, at one point, nobody would have admitted they'd bought any underwear from Ann Summers, and now they're wearing it for fancy dress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, so...
And you'll also find there's a lot of high street retailers that also stock Ann Summers stuff now. It's very much more acceptable. And
I think society is more accepting of sexuality now.
Yeah.
We were very, oh no thank you, we're British. We were very like that. And I know I'm as old as Moses, but you know, we didn't even talk about sex when I was young.
Yeah.
It wasn't discussed.
That's why it's all come out now.
Open my mouth and it all comes pouring out. I've told you about my mother, haven't I? God rest her soul. She was an amazing woman. Hilarious. Literally hilarious. And she was always very open with me. But on the whole, most people, you know, if you didn't get sex education at school, you didn't know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You literally didn't know about it.
We had a book on the bookshelf, and then I think it was one lesson at secondary school, sex education, and it was when they were talking about erections, and myself and my mate was sitting right at the front of the class. We got actually thrown out for giggling.
I had a girl in my school, in my year, and we were in the first year of secondary school, and she started a period at school, and she didn't know. Because her parents had said she couldn't do sex education, she did not know what periods were. She thought she was bleeding to death.
Bless her.
That wouldn't happen now because things are talked about so much more openly. There was no adverts for sanitary towels on the TV.
Well,
Plus,
I feel
people
posh.
would have been
You've got all on
mortified.
social media as well now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
So thankfully, you know, the fact that we are more open, there are lots of pluses to that.
I feel
Massively lots of pluses to
I
it.
feel extremely posh now because
Why?
you had a book.
Yeah.
Poor Debs had nothing. We had Sky Television.
Oh, here we fucking go.
When it was Astra, part of Astra, so we had like RTL, the German channels.
Oh, I bet you do.
Yeah, I can still remember. I think it was Channel 13.
Prison porn.
There was only, on Sky when Sky first had it was the Astra satellite. There was just 16 channels. Sky had about
15 of them were porn.
No. Channel 13, I think, was RTL. Yeah.
And how old were you?
Can't remember.
So my husband, it's good that we don't listen to this and be ringing me up going, what the fuck are you doing now, woman? So my husband at one point lived in a caravan on a farm in Wales, in bumfuck nowhere. Had no TV because you couldn't get TV. And so his mum, who literally bought the boy everything, went and bought him a satellite to go on top of the caravan so he could get TV.
Okay.
So she's bought him this satellite, he's plugged it in, all it can get is Germany. So all he can watch is German porn.
Happy.
So she's gone, oh, I'll take it back. He went, no, it's absolutely fine. Bring some videos videos with you when you come to visit, so you've got something to watch.
And maybe a sock.
So she had to take videos with her when she went to visit him because the only thing he could get on this satellite was German porn. But he was quite happy.
I'm sure.
Short-sighted, but quite happy.
I think
Visually impaired.
I think I would have traded, my BMX mongoose for that satellite at that age.
Honestly.
Oh, dear.
Honestly. But it does go to show that, we're not saying that people have different kinks that might be a little bit more that are not welcome, because they are absolutely welcome. We're just saying, if you have something that you feel or you think people would deem to be extreme.
Take it to a private room.
Be mindful.
We did get some clarity from the club on this.
We did.
From
McQueen.
From McQueen.
I'm sure there's people listening now probably shitting themselves. That's banned as well, by the way.
Yeah, that
please
was
don't
one of the
do
things
that.
that you're not allowed to do.
There's people shitting themselves going, oh no, am I going to be in trouble for doing X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of clarity, isn't there?
There was a little bit of clarity. So we've just spoken to McQueen, and
McQueen is the new name for the management, because we've got sick of calling, because Liberty Elite now has a new owner. Ta-da! And I say new, this person's been the owner for a little while now, a short while. And so we did ask, because obviously we like our parties at Liberty Elite.
yeah, we don't want banning.
We don't want banning. So, and the new name of the new management is McQueen.
Yes.
I said Lightning McQueen, and I was on thin ice.
You were very
You
thin
spend
ice.
most of your life on thin ice,
Yeah.
darling. I think you like
So it's
it
McQueen.
there.
Yes.
So we did ask for some clarity, and the clarity that we received is no piss, no poo, no blood.
Right.
So much as I've just said that we need to be thoughtful of people and respectful of everybody in the playroom, there is an element of we have to be respectful of somebody has to clean that stuff up.
Yeah.
And nobody gets paid enough to clean that kind of stuff up.
And I think it's also important to say that the member of our crew who was involved in an act, piss, poo and blood wasn't involved.
No, not at all.
But we've also said, there was
Yeah.
nothing illegal. It was consensual between friends.
Yeah.
That there was nothing wrong with what went on.
Yeah.
It was where
Yes.
it went on.
Correct.
And the aftermath for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been the issue.
Yeah.
It's about our much valued guests
Yeah.
being upset and offended. And as I was saying, this gentleman that I feel like I was very flippant with, if you are on Discord, please come and speak to me. You can either message me directly, you have permission to come straight into my DMs, and I have changed my name today to Delicious Debs on Discord, so you can actually find me as Delicious Debs.
Good, because
It
I can
was
never
different.
bloody find you.
Yeah, it was different, and I just thought, no, if we're going to do this, I need to change it, so you need to be able to find me. If anybody was upset by that incident, you are very welcome to come into my DMs and speak to me directly. You do not need to ask permission. Everybody else, don't forget your manners, ask permission. But if this event has directly impacted you, please feel free to come straight into my DMs and speak to me, or you can come to the reach out room.
You probably invited a can of worms there. Because there'll be about 50 guys going, it was me, Debs. Please comfort me.
I've got a block button and I'm not afraid to use it, and I'm admin, I can kick them.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is about this, it's not only obviously did we want to come on and be very truthful about, what had happened and, obviously how devastated we all are, because we are absolutely
I
devastated.
think it's also as well to bring balance to the situation.
Yeah.
There was 99.5% of everybody there that didn't notice what went on.
If you take the numbers against how many people were there, it's more like 99.9%.
Yeah.
Yes.
That had an amazing
Or even one
night.
person having a bad time, we
Yeah.
need to address. 'cause
Absolutely,
that's not
it's
how we
one
want
person
it to be.
too many, and that's what I wanted to say. I want our listeners and I want people that attend our events to know that, you know, we do back up what we say. We are there for you. And
which is why we're doing this programme right now. We could have easily have just gone, okay, that incident happened.
Put that under the carpet.
Yeah.
Move on.
And that's not us. You know, we will always stand accountable for everything that goes on at our parties. We feel let down by what happened. And that's been addressed.
It just comes a bit more to home that it was a crew member, doesn't it?
Yeah. And as I say, I take full responsibility because that was my judgment to...
I think that was everybody's judgment, sweetheart. I don't think you can necessarily say...
I don't think there was one person that didn't agree with...
It doesn't all fall at your door. We are all jointly responsible for that.
And
we all have to take the flak for that.
I genuinely do appreciate the support on that, and it means a lot. But yeah, it's an incident that happened, and you know, we move on.
Absolutely.
But the important thing is that we learn from it.
Yes.
And we also just need to make it perfectly clear to people that, you know, we are there.
And I think also as well, again, this sort of situation where if anyone feels uncomfortable at any club,
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult for club owners, hosts, and anyone who's in charge of a party.
Can't be everywhere.
But it's also very difficult as well if somebody says something. This person was easily identifiable because they were a member of the crew.
Yeah.
But if this had been just a guest or somebody doing this, it's very difficult for the club owners, the hosts, to go on Fab Swingers, try and identify somebody from an arse or a dick pic,
or to say, you know, well, it was a blonde, whatever, you know, or
and you've got 120 people on a guest list.
Yeah,
that's incredibly difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah.
So if there's an incident, and that sort of the management, McQueen, will always say, please don't leave it till after the event and send us an email. That doesn't help.
Or wait till the end of the night, because that person could have left the building.
Yeah.
As soon as something becomes uncomfortable, or you know something bothers you, go straight to a member of staff or a member of the crew, because then it can be addressed there and then on the spot. This sounds like something that regularly happens. It doesn't regularly happen. It is rare.
I'm glad you said that.
When it does happen, we do jump on it straight away. When I've not been working, so we had an incident. I was at one of the parties, and we have a no sex in the jacuzzi rule. Now, there were lots of people that go, "It's a sex club." Yeah,
it's actually not.
Private
members club.
It's a private members club. People go there to have sex.
Yes.
They do go there to have sex. And anybody thinks they don't, you're wrong. So that's what people go there for.
Of course.
So why can't we have sex in the jacuzzi? Well, I personally love the jacuzzi. It's one of my favourite parts. I know Mrs. N is the buffet. For me, jacuzzi is...
That's my second
But
favourite.
I do not want to swim in your jizz.
No.
You can be playful in there.
You can be playful in there. But the reality is...
We've got to pick Mrs. N up off the floor now.
So
we
had an incident a few months ago where there was some people in the club. They'd come as a guest of a member, and they were having a very enthusiastic time in the tub. I arrived in the tub to find everybody pinned into the back of the tub because they were on the steps. So nobody could get in, nobody could get out because of these three enthusiastic people that thought they were putting on a porn show. And it was quite revolting. Again, nothing illegal, nothing unreasonable. If it was done on a bed, even in the big playroom, not on the steps of the hot tub.
Yeah.
So I said, enough. And they said, why? And I went, you've been told there's no sex in the jacuzzi. You need to go and get on a bed. It's absolutely fine for you to go and get on a bed, but do not do that in the hot tub.
Yeah.
They couldn't understand why. So I had to explain that I didn't want to swim in their jizz. So
she's off again.
They then went. They went and got on a bed and were a little bit upset with me. I don't care. I'm not there to make friends. I have lots of friends.
I
Lots
thought-
of people like me. It doesn't matter. So I thought initially I might get lynched by the group of people that I thought may have been watching this particular show. Instead, they all went, oh, thank God for that, Deb. It was awful.
Yeah.
Truly awful. And these were not new people.
Yeah.
These are experienced members of the club that come very regularly and do not have issues with what they see in the club. But they were really horrified by what they'd been pinned
Yeah.
in the club. They couldn't have got out the tub if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because they filled the whole row of the steps. And they were really quite upset by it. So I stopped it anyway. We put bigger signs up to say no sex in the tub. And then I was at the bar. I wasn't working. I was there having a drink. And a gentleman appeared at the bar and he said, Deb, I'm really, really sorry, but they're having sex in the tub. And I went, okay, not a problem. So I put my drink down, I went up to the tub and I collected some glasses.
Yeah.
And I said, you're not having sex in my tub, are you? And they're like, what? I went, no, seriously, you're not having sex in my tub. Look at the signs. Do not have sex in the tub. Go to a bed. There are plenty of beds. There are free beds down there. Go and get on a bed. Do not have sex in the tub. And the girls that were in the tub are like, thank you. You know, they're mouthing thank you at me. So I grabbed the glasses and I went back to the bar. And the next thing you know, somebody else appeared in the bar and went, I'm so sorry. I went, they're at it again, aren't they? And they went, yeah. I went, okay, I'll fix this. So I went to the change room, took all my fucking clothes off when I got in the tub. And I'm like, now I know you're not having sex in my tub. And they got out.
Brilliant.
And it seems like I'm a party pooper. I'm not a party pooper. There is a
not at
time and place
all.
for I wouldn't stand at the bar and put up with somebody having a blowjob at the bar. Our lounge area is a no-play zone.
Absolutely.
So if somebody was stood at my bar having a blowjob, I would say to them, take it to a playroom.
There's a very big difference between being a Karen, being a snowflake.
Yeah.
I was called a Karen that night.
No.
I was called a Karen.
No.
But there's a very big difference between being a Karen, being a snowflake, and making someone feel genuinely just uncomfortable. That's just, again, thoughtless.
Yeah.
And so obviously we say week after week, when you go into Liberty Elite, you know, you leave your judgment at the door.
We still have a little bit of guidance as to being thoughtful of other people.
Conscience.
Being
Yeah, you don't have to leave
considerate
that
of
at the
other
door.
people. You know, we're responsible for our own actions.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't do things that are intentionally going to cause offence to other
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
No, exactly.
Or make me have to wash the hot tub out.
It is the cleanest hot tub you've ever seen.
It is the cleanest hot tub
is.
because we don't let people do that kind of stuff in the hot tub.
Absolutely.
But everyone will remember episode 8, John, you know, the previous owner of the club, he showed me the filtration system.
Oh, don't go down that one again. Good grief.
The filtration system was bigger than our house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was obsessed.
OCD.
And he's a
with-
germaphobe.
Yeah.
If he thinks you've got a cold, he won't let you anywhere near him.
But
Even in the street. If you see him, if you saw him in the supermarket and you were like, got a tissue wiping your nose, he'd walk the other way.
But that is great for people who visit the club, because they know that hot tub, you can get in even in, you know, a club where people have sex, and it's going to be absolutely cleaner than a plate in my dishwasher. Well, if it's already been put on.
I was just about to say, who puts the dishwasher on?
Yeah, I won't
We're
I
going to
won't
get into the
it. Yeah, we're
loading
not gonna get
dishwasher
into that.
conversation, aren't we?
Otherwise, the floggers may need to come out. Let's keep that quiet.
Everybody's paid the same money to be there. They all deserve to have a good night.
You're coming into an environment and into a hobby, which is you share.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't be selfish. And that's the thing. If you are selfish that way, then you're not, to me,
It's not for you.
No.
not for you.
Those beds are shared.
Yeah.
You will see many couples who are very considerate and will lay their towel down.
Yeah.
But there's towels there. So there's towels on the shelves around the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
And up in the private playrooms, there's towels up there. And if at any point you go to use a playroom and there's no towels left, you can always go to the bar and ask for more towels.
Yeah.
They will always provide you with
Yeah.
more towels. So you play, you remove the towel, you put it in the laundry basket, put a clean towel down. So the next person that comes to play has got at least a nice environment to play in.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because our beds aren't like a lot of clubs. They're not plastic, white, clean beds.
No.
They are normal beds, so that you've got a normal mattress with a mattress protector and a sheet and a towel. So hopefully that should mean that you have a nice environment in which to play.
And it makes it special.
It does make it
It makes
special.
it just that extra little bit special.
It doesn't feel like you're in a knocking shop.
No, exactly. And if you get a little bit sweaty, you don't stick to anything.
It's very good in the summer. It's very good in the summer.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Debs, for coming along today and sort of like stressing the points, because it could have been a very negative. It was a negative situation.
Well, it has
that
been a
happened.
negative situation, and it's brought a lot of negative energy to us.
Yeah.
But it was important that we came and explained to people and made sure that anybody that did have any negative experiences that they knows they can reach out to us.
Yeah.
That is not the norm.
Yeah.
That is not the norm at all, and we're more than happy to talk to you.
As we say, 99.9% really of everybody on that night didn't even know what was going on. They weren't even aware.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they were busy doing their own thing.
And I mean, we still had loads of really, really amazing comments from people going out. We always hang around either the sort of changing area or the
we've heard about you.
That sounds so dodgy.
Yeah, well, we do though. On the way out, because we
do like to be back to see people when they go home, make sure they have a safe journey, make sure they've had a good night. So we don't.
But on our nights, we do join in.
Yeah, we do.
We're not hosts where we just stand at the door.
I wouldn't know, because by that point I've took my glasses off.
I know.
You can
don't
never
know who's
bloody
in there.
see, can you?
As long as I keep quiet, I'm like a ninja. You don't know where I am.
Mrs. N actually said to me in the week, there was some reference made to how big Mr. N is, and she said, well, I'm sure you've seen. I went, no glasses. No glasses. Not seen nothing.
Results.
It's quite funny, really, because obviously we've been in the playroom a lot together.
Yeah.
Not together, but at the same time, simultaneously. But still, when I turn my Fab on and I go through my friends' updates and there's a picture of Mrs. N naked, I go, oh, can I have a cup of tea with her in a bed? Move that out of the way, because I've never seen Mrs. N naked, because I don't have my glasses on, because I don't know.
Yeah, but the trouble is I don't have my glasses on either, so
I've got news for you, Dan. That's not a bad thing if you're looking at me naked.
Don't be ridiculous.
It's like an unmade bed.
Not at all.
I've seen you naked. I don't wear glasses. I don't sort of need glasses for that amount of. I wear my reading glasses, but
You're stuttering, Mr. M.
I know that's because I'm thinking of Debs naked now. So
There'll be another tissue needed.
and on that bombshell, thank you so much for coming. I mean it today, because
I can't imagine not having been part of this.
and that's the thing. We are a family.
We are
And we
a
do
family.
support each other. We do we support each other, and we support each and every one of our listeners.
Yeah.
So if ever any of our listeners, not just related to this,
absolutely.
if any of our listeners ever have an issue with anything,
Absolutely.
the reach out room is there for a reason, and we're all in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to be, somebody that attends our events or we know you or anything. If you've got any issue and that you don't feel that you've got anybody to talk to,
The reach out room is there for you.
Please
Absolutely.
use the reach out room. That's what it's there for.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And so, yes, on that bombshell, we've about run out of time.
There are those that would say, thank fuck for that.
Never. Whenever you're on the podcast, Mrs., I get so many people tell me how they just love your voice. Absolutely love your voice. They go crazy for it.
To the little man on the push bike, I don't know, little man, he might not be a little man, he might be 6'3". To the man on the push bike, you won't need to fall off your push bike today, darling. You'll be all right. Should have put that at the beginning.
Yeah, we maybe should have put a spoiler in just to make sure that if, by the way, Debs is on the podcast, you may want to just pull over
On your push bike.
we do get some people go, oh, she sounds a bit scary.
Ask Cookie. She might laugh, you might die.
It is okay. I keep telling him, stop writing in. Don't forget, it's Vanilla to Vixen, the Chinese New Year party on the 10th of February.
Yes.
You have to come and see my dragon I built.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dragon.
We didn't mention that, did we?
No, Debs has built a big dragon. We'll have to stick a photo of it on Twitter, X, Elon, whatever you're calling it this week.
Do you know?
Hey, I saw him.
I know. Don't. I thought I got.
Don't, because you'll set him off again.
I thought I got through the whole show without you mentioning that, and then
You mentioned it. I didn't.
I know. I'm so gutted.
For anybody that doesn't know Mr. N, he is totally in love with Elon Musk, even though he tries to make out that he hates
Not
him.
his cars. I hate electric cars. They're boring.
Yes, but as a person, you were in love with him, aren't you?
Yeah, I got his book for Christmas.
You did. I did buy you his book.
And Debs goes on fucking holiday with him.
We're not with him. Would have been a slightly different experience if I'd gone with Elon Musk. Off I go to Poland with Hooky. Off we go to Auschwitz, because everybody does that as a holiday treat, don't they? But then we really wanted to do it. We felt it was a valuable thing to do, and it was a very valuable thing to do.
I need to talk to you about
this.
this.
We'll absolutely talk about this.
Yeah.
But so we get to Auschwitz in a taxi because we'd fucked up with the bus. So we get there in a taxi, and the taxi driver opens the door and we get out, and she's gone like a rat up a drain pipe. She went out of a no entry, over the pavement and out the end of the road. Anybody who thinks she was Jewish, I don't know, but she could not get away quick enough. So it turns out she dropped us at the wrong Auschwitz, and we should have gone to the other one.
How many Auschwitz do they have?
So, I'll tell you all about that later.
No.
But there is 2 camps that you visit,
Okay.
and there were 4 camps, but
Okay.
there's only 2 left now, and you go to both of them. But you
Right.
start off at one and then go to the other one. We got dropped at the wrong one. As we're pulling up, there is film crews literally everywhere. Elon's there, isn't he? I didn't know why.
Did he go in his rocket?
Didn't spot a rocket, if I'm perfectly honest. Apparently he had his 3-year-old on his shoulders the whole time. Not really appropriate. They do say don't take under 14s, and I've got to be honest, I wouldn't take anybody under 14.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But it's amazing thing to have done. Won't ever do it again unless somebody was going and really wanted somebody to go with.
Yeah.
But yeah,
One of those
very
special,
sombre.
Yeah.
especially
Very valuable.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
special.
I must admit, I do have a bit of an opinion on that I think, like in schools and stuff, how they I don't know whether they still teach about World War One and World War Two and stuff, and I just think it should be talked about. It
needs to be talked about. It needs to be current.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a completely different thing, and not for Vanilla to Vixen.
Yeah.
But yes, I did encounter Elon.
So you've been closer to Elon Musk than Mr. N
I've
probably
been
will
within
ever be.
touching distance of Elon.
We're out of time
And I
now.
didn't and I didn't ask him for Mr. N's username back.
We're out of time. We're out of time. And on that bombshell,
He's being a Karen.
if you want
All
to,
right, Karen.
if you want to contact us, you can contact us on X. Fucking change to Snapchat, I will. You can contact us on X. Naughty Couple spelled NAUGHTYCOUP1E, because Elon won't let me have Naughty Couple spelled NAUGHTYCP1 like it is on Fab Swingers and everything else. So you can contact us on that. Debs, thank you very much for coming along.
You're welcome, my darling.
You're welcome. And we shall see you again soon.
Stay tuned, my darling.
Bye.
Bye.